Good morning, Memphis. Good morning across the country on iHeartRadio. You're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program, and I'm your host, Joe Garner, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust. Thanks for joining us. Co-hosting today, we have Jeremy Veldman with Memphis Turnkey Properties. He's also president of the Memphis Investor Group, and he's a creator of RTO Gold Mine at that's RTOGoldMine.com. Jeremy and his business partner, Alex Craig, were featured last year as distinguished entrepreneurs on William Shatner's show, Moving America Forward. Today, we're talking with you about strategies for buying for profit. 10 to 15 real estate properties per month without leaving your office. Join us by calling 901-535-WREC, and that number again is 901-535-9732. Jeremy's going to introduce our distinguished guest today, but first, Jeremy, tell us a little bit more about you and about Memphis Investor Group.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. First of all, it's a pleasure to be back on the show again. The Memphis Investors Group, or MIG, M-I-G, is a real estate investor association. We often call it a REIA. And in fact, it's the only REIA in Memphis right now. And it's a nonprofit organization that basically exists to educate and empower individuals within the Memphis community and around the country to be successful real estate investors. And we have a lot of local speakers, and we also have national speakers. And this month, in fact, next Thursday, we're going to have Larry Goins. Larry is a national speaker. He's based in Lake Wylie, South Carolina, and he's been in the real estate investing business for about 30 years now. He's a licensed real estate broker, a licensed general contractor. He's also a licensed mortgage lender, and he has spoken all around the country. He's shared the stage with names like Michael Gerber, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, and Donald Trump. So he's very well known and highly respected, and he actually has a book out called HUD Homes Half Off. And I understand, Joel, that you've been reading that book as well.
I have.
A lot of great information. So we're real excited to have Larry on the program today, and he's going to share some information about how he got started in the real estate business and what he's going to talk about next Thursday night.
All right. Well, we've got Larry Goins on the air with us. He wrote the book HUD Homes Half Off, a simple step-by-step detailed guide for buying HUD homes at 50, 40, and even 30% off. He's got another program out now called Filthy Riches, which pretty exciting. He's a national speaker. He's an author. He's been in the real estate investing business for over 20 years. Larry Goins, nice to have you on the air with us.
What's happening, Joe? How you been?
We've been doing great in Memphis. We're like on the top charts for real estate investing. But got a couple of questions I want to ask you. When I was reading your book, I noticed your mission statement, and it really impressed me, your mission statement: to provide hope, encouragement, and opportunity to individuals and their families by providing quality products, services, properties, and mentoring based on ethical, moral, and biblical principles. And under your core values, you say you put people first and principles before profits. I really like that. I wanted to ask you, Larry, what is the key to your personal success?
Well, that's a great question, and I think really the thing is, I think Zig Ziglar said it best. Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have anything in life that you want. And that's kind of the way that I like to not only live my life but try to run my business. And I think everybody out there listening, if you have a business, even if it's a small business and you're just getting started, you should create your own mission statement. That's going to help be the rudder that drives your organization.
Hey, Larry, this is Jeremy Veldman, the president of the Memphis Investors Group. How you doing today?
What's up, buddy? How you been?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's been about 5 years since you spoke at our group, and I got to tell you, personally, I'm in a very different place now than where I was when you spoke at our group last. I was actually working a full-time job the last time you came out, and now I'm a full-time real estate investor, and it's been quite a journey. So real estate is really a great way to wean yourself out of your job and become an independent entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Now, listen, Larry, you've been in the real estate business for the better part of 30 years. I believe you bought your first investment property in 86. I bought my first investment property in 2006, so you got a 20-year head start on me there. And you've tried a lot of different niches in the real estate business, and you've gone through several different processes, several different niches in real estate before you actually became successful. Can you tell me why you chose the niche that you're in right now and why it's so much different from any other niche in real estate?
Well, the niche that I do a lot of right now is a seller financing niche with low price, cheap properties. And I will be the first one to tell you that I think anybody out there getting started in real estate, you need to learn all the different types of real estate: wholesaling, retail, and lease options, doing subject twos, doing short sales, seller financing, sandwich leases, all that. But the thing I love about this little model that I call Filthy Riches is I've never seen any kind of returns that you can get as good as the kind of returns you can get doing these little Filthy Riches type deals. And it just blows me away, where I'm really focusing on a market that nobody else is really going after, but in addition to that, I'm getting returns that nobody else has ever seen. And it's really exciting for me. And not only that, but the best part is you're helping other people at the same time. I've had so many people, Jeremy, that have told me, I want to get into real estate, but I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of somebody. I want to feel like I'm helping people.
Right.
And with this model, not only are you helping people, you're helping people become homeowners, you're helping people become investors, but at the same time, they're helping you get rich, and it's win-win-win.
As I was telling you, Larry, and telling Jeremy, CoreLogic data places Memphis, Tennessee at the top of the charts for real estate in 2014. Even in today's paper, September 6, 2014, the local section, there's a whole article about renting versus buying. Last year, Realty Track, it says, they also monitor housing sales and foreclosures. They identified Memphis as the nation's most lucrative metro area for cash-rich and cash-hungry investors who want to buy cheap houses and rent them out. Jeremy, I wanted to ask you, what are you seeing in the rental market here, and investment market here in Memphis right now, and where are you investing?
It's red hot right now, Joe. We can't buy them fast enough. We got such a demand right now for inventory. We have a laser-focused strategy at Memphis Turnkey, and we have a slogan: better properties in better areas are going to make better investments. We love the eastern suburbs of Memphis. Bartlett primarily. It's just a great neighborhood for cash flow, great schools out there, and you can also get value in your homes. We're also in Little Rock. In fact, we got a buying tour coming up at the end of the month in Little Rock. Real excited about that event. Our team there is doing a fabulous job finding quality investment properties, rehabbing them, and giving investors another option for great value.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on in the mortgage market. Mortgage rates started out with some very low rates in the morning yesterday, but in spite of the jobs report being a little dismal, investors moved money around, sending the bond market yields up. And when yields on these mortgage-backed securities go up, they pull the mortgage rates up with them. But luckily, when they started going up, it sort of just stopped. So the rates are still very comfortable at a 30-year fixed, 4.125, no points. There's a lot of other criteria that's the best execution. FHA, VA, 30 years, like 3.75, 15-year conventional, 3.25, comfortably in the 3s and 4s still. And if you can always get a lower rate if you want to pay a little bit extra, or even better, if you want to have someone else pay a little extra for you to get those rates down, you can certainly do it. Winners in the market this week are people who are purchasing homes. Some of them are purchasing primary residence, vacation homes, investment properties. Former renters they really get special bragging rights, especially if they're buying a bigger, better home with a house payment less than what they were paying in rent for a smaller space. Kudos to you guys. Other winners in the market are homeowners who are refinancing their primary residence, their vacation home, or their investment properties. If you can lower your note considerably, it frees up funds to invest to make even more money. Just keep making money with your money. If you keep your note about the same by refinancing, but you can shorten your term, you can save tens of thousands of dollars. And if you want to do the numbers and just look at your own possibilities, give me a call today on the air, 901-535-WREC, or you can call me off the air, 901-482-0354. Or catch me on my blog, mortgageloansblog.com. And we're about to take a break. You're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program. I'm Joe Garner, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust, talking with Jeremy Veldman with Turnkey Properties, president of Memphis Investor Group. We're talking with Larry Goins, national speaker, an author, and a real estate guru, and we want to talk with you. So give us a call, 901-535-WREC. We'll see you back in just a moment.
Here's what people are saying about the Nation of Jake.
What is that? I got
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
The Nation of J, Monday afternoon at 5 on 600 WREC and 600WREC.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-936-0677. That's 1-800-936-0677. 1-800-936-0677. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
If you've got an IRA, 401k, or pension plan, I've got some really bad news for you. The IRS wants you to think these qualified plans are the best way to save for retirement. They give you a tax break when you contribute. Sounds good, right? Wrong. A qualified plan could be a tax disaster when you retire. With $17 trillion in debt, taxes are already going up. Imagine paying a TOPS tax rate of 94% like they did in the 1940s. There is a better way. It's an alternative the ultra-rich use that beats the pants off your IRA or 401k. It's been around for years. Your money grows tax-deferred, has no taxes during retirement, and no income taxes when you die. Plus, you can grow your money potential double digits with no risk of losing money when the market crashes. If the market tanks like 2008, you lose nothing. Call 1-800-579-9898 now to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of my Inc. magazine best-selling book, Safe Money Millionaire, to protect yourself from taxes and crashes. The next 37 callers get free shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 1-800-579-9898. Again, that's 1-800-579-9898.
I've got my own veterinary practice, but getting started wasn't easy, especially when it came to finding new customers. Then I heard about leadsbyweb.com.
Leadsbyweb.com gets you listed in the places customers are searching online and gets them to call you. Just tell us how many leads you want. Call 855-882-0932 now, and we'll start with a free evaluation by one of our local business consultants.
Thanks to leadsbyweb.com, business is really barking. Booming.
Call 855-882-0932.
600 WREC Sports.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
The hardest working man in show business.
It's only radio. It's so simple.
Don't you ever talk about me.
In baseball Friday night, a third-inning swing by Matt Kemp was the difference for the L.A. Dodgers against the Diamondbacks, and it also gives us a convenient excuse to play you a Vin Scully highlight. You're welcome.
Matt Kemp drives one to right field. Back goes Peralta, watching this thing go over the bullpen gate. And Matt Kemp, a home run to right. And the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead.
On KLAC, 2-1 Dodgers was the final. They lead the NL West by 2 over the Giants, who won at Detroit 8-2. The Royals won at the Yankees 1-0. Kansas City leads the AL Central by 2 over the Tigers as the Royals seek their first postseason appearance since winning the World Series in 1985. Brewers over the Cardinals 6-2. St. Louis still leads the NL Central over Milwaukee by 3.
Let's make a lot of money, Jeremy. I think I was going to say I've got the brains and you've got the looks, but maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, you're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program. I am Joe Garner, your host, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust. We're talking with Jeremy Veldman, who is with Memphis Turnkey Properties, is also president of Memphis Investor Group. We're also talking with Larry Goins, national speaker, author, and going to be coming to Memphis and speaking at the Hilton. And he's going to be talking about a topic that is very close to what we're talking about today on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program, strategies for buying for profit, 10 to 15 real estate properties per month without leaving your office. We want to talk with you. Give us a call, 901-535-WREC. That's 901-535-WREC. 9732, and we have someone on the line. Joe, how can we help you today?
Well, I've got about 8 rental houses, and then but I've got them through like different banks. I've got one through a DeSoto bank, one in DeSoto County. I've got one through one in Holly Springs, and I've got a couple financed through mortgage companies where I used to live in those homes.
Yes.
Anyway, but I can't get a decent rate because they're rental properties. And the other day I got a call from a mortgage company saying they could offer me something at 4.2, you know, and but see, I'm self-employed. And I've always had a lot of problems with that, it seems like. And but I have excellent credit.
Mm-hmm.
And is there some bank or somewhere I could kind of consolidate them and try to pull some equity out of some and pay some off? And because I want to kind of lower my bills every month because I'm getting older. I don't want to work as much as I used to.
Hey, I don't blame you, Joe. Well, I'm glad you called, and there are a number of ways you can do that. Now, are you planning on keeping those rental properties for over 5 years?
Yes,
You probably, if you can, you want to try to get them into a fixed rate loan that's fixed for like 30 years because your tenants are paying it anyway, or, you know, you could always prepay, you can pay them off early if you want, or a 15-year. You've got a 6% rate, so on a 30-year, right now you're probably looking at a 5% on a 30-year realistically if you're not paying a whole bunch of points. And if it is a true fixed rate loan that's not going to come due on you suddenly or turn into an adjustable rate, I'd love to get a chance to talk to you off the air. As far as combining them all into a blanket mortgage, you're probably not going to get as good of terms if you do that. And since you're keeping the property for a long time, I would suggest, like I said, a more traditional Fannie Freddie type loan, fixed rate, 30 years.
Yeah, because see, I've got like one that's worth about $170,000. I'm going to have it paid off this year, and then I've got some other ones that I've got on a 5-year loan that's kind of hard to pay. You know, so I would like to just go ahead and pull some equity out of that one house, because the tenants are paying that rent anyway,
right?
And use that money to pay off a couple other houses.
Yes.
And then in the long term, I'll reduce my what I got to pay every month.
That's an excellent plan. I've done that with some of my customers that have properties that have that kind of equity, where we can do a cash out on that property and use the money to pay off some other smaller mortgages. That's an excellent idea, Joe. Well,
I need to do it.
I appreciate you calling and being around the table with us. Please leave your number with our producer, and I want to talk to you off the air.
Okay, I sure appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And we're going to, Jeremy, tell our listeners who are just tuning in just a little bit about Larry, just a few seconds, and we're going to hop right back on with Larry.
Yeah, Larry's going to be at our event, Memphis Investors Group, next Thursday, September 11th. The meeting starts at 7 o'clock at the Hilton, Memphis, and we are privileged to have Larry on the call this morning. Larry, we hear a lot about wholesaling as being the niche to start out in, and you actually have a course out on wholesaling that I invested in 5 years ago when I was getting started. It's an outstanding course, by the way. Now, can you tell me why this filthy riches system is easier, faster, and safer than wholesaling?
Well, absolutely I can. You know, everybody says when you get started, you know, wholesaling is the easiest thing to do. Well, in wholesaling, which is basically buying a property or get a property under contract at a deep discount and then add a little bit to it and sell it to another investor. Okay, and then they're going to either fix and flip it or fix it and rent it out. Well, the thing with wholesaling, your biggest asset is your buyer's list. And see, so many people out there are so afraid of making offers on property, especially if they're a brand new investor. They're so afraid of making an offer on a property because their biggest fear is, what if they say yes? Now what do? I don't have anybody to buy it. So with this Filthy Riches model, I can show you how to sell these properties with no buyer's list, so you don't have to worry about what if they say yes.
Exactly. Now, Larry, one more question I'm going to turn over to my co-host here, Joe. I hear a lot about investors who get started in real estate and they fail. They either spin their wheels and then they either give up or they try a niche and it just doesn't work out for them. Can you tell people why they're going to be successful with a Filthy Riches system and not fail?
I'll give you one of the reasons, and I've got plenty more once because we're actually coming to your area here very soon, but coming to your event actually. But one of the biggest reasons people fail is, see, when somebody wants to get started in real estate, what do they start out with? They start out with all this enthusiasm. They're really excited. They're really enthusiastic. And what do they lack? They lack knowledge. Well, after 6 months, they've got the knowledge or got the education, but guess what's gone? It's the enthusiasm. The thing I love about this Filthy Riches model is you can get going, get started, do your first deal, do your next deal, do your next deal, before you even have to worry about the enthusiasm going away, because you can get started so fast. In fact, I have a lot of students who they've done their first deal in the first 3, 4, 5 weeks that they got started learning the materials. So I'm just really excited about that, because it's a very, very simple, step-by-step, easy-to-understand process, and it's not going to take somebody 6 months to start implementing and make some money with it.
You know, Larry, this is Joe Garner, host of the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program, of course, and loving this conversation with you and Jeremy. I'm an investor, too, a real estate investor as well, and I work with a lot of real estate investors. And I've noticed that part of the material that you're going to be covering when you come to Memphis with Memphis Investor Group is how to analyze any property in 2 seconds flat for a quick yes or no. Now, that interests me. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, you know, I've got a couple of sayings. You know, if you're not embarrassed by your offer, it's probably too much. Also, along those same lines is, you know, when you're analyzing a deal, if you need a calculator, it's probably not a deal anyway, you know, if you got to figure out use a calculator to tell if you have a deal. But I do have a very simple, easy to understand method to where you can run the numbers, and literally within 2 seconds flat, you can tell if you have a deal. And in fact, I've got a little simple, easy to understand analyzer, sits right on your desktop. And, you know, the people that come to the investors, the Memphis Investor Group, you know, they'll be able to use that and get it, you know, for free, and, you know, nothing to opt in for, nothing to buy. It's not a trial version. They'll be able to use it absolutely free. But in addition to that, it's just very, very simple. You just take your ARV and you times 0.7 and then back out all your costs and what you want to make, and that's exactly what you can pay for the property. It really is that simple.
ARV, for our listeners, what is ARV?
After repaired value.
All right. Now, I've got a question for you. Let's say we go in there and in 2 seconds flat, we know it's a yes. We're going to write ourselves a contract. You talk about the absolute must-have clauses in every offer that you make. What are those?
Well, the good news is in these filthy riches deals, you don't have to really worry about, you know, a bunch of rehab estimates and all that, because I'm showing them how to do low-price, cheap deals that nobody else wants. But at the same time, when you're talking to your realtor or your seller, you can tell them, look, I don't need an inspection. I don't need an appraisal. All I really need is a few pictures of the property. And, in fact, that's your very first clause. Our first clause goes like this, you know, agent or seller to provide a minimum of 20 pictures to include every room, any repair areas, you know, items that need work, all mechanical items, all 4 sides of the house, and a street view both ways. Because if I'm paying $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a property, I don't really need a home inspection done on it, okay? And the other one is agent or seller to verify there's no outstanding code violations. Now, I could do that myself, but I tell my students to put that in there just so they don't buy a property that's scheduled for demolition by the city next week, you know, which has happened to me years ago, but it has happened, you know. And the third one is to help us sell it, because I'm going to show the people at Memphis Investor Group exactly how to do this, not only in your area but outside your area. So one of the last clauses we put in is agent or seller to put buyer's sign in the window and lockbox on the door at closing.
Beck. The government significantly bothers me. Rush.
We've had more freedom. We've had more liberty.
Hannity.
There is no excuse for this whatsoever.
Jake.
I'm not saying that black people don't know Van Halen. In fact, he was my boss, and he was a black guy who liked Van Hagar better than Van Halen. This has nothing to do with race.
One of these things is definitely not like the other. The Nation of Jake. Weekday afternoons at 5 on News Talk 600 WREC.
At Heritage at Irene Woods, independence, choice, and convenience are important. Heritage at Irene Woods makes it possible for you to live fully at any age. This new independent living, assisted living and memory care community is now open. Located at Forest Hill, Irene Road and 385 in the Memphis, Germantown, Collierville area. Heritage at Irene Woods has immediate availability. Contact them at 901-737-4735. That's 901-737-4735.
I'm Jim Bassam with the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency. It's heartbreaking to see how much disasters take away from families and communities. If we will take just a little time preparing for emergencies, our lives and well-being can be protected. We built a smartphone app called ReadyTN that can help everyone prepare.
ReadyTN is available as a download for your smartphone. It provides current weather, road conditions, and information on how to be prepared for the next disaster.
I'm an emergency manager, and I'm asking you to be ready for the next disaster.
Need a payday loan? LendUp.com offers better payday loans with lower rates. Apply online today to get a decision instantly, and you can get your money in minutes. You can even access more money over time. LendUp.com, your trusted direct lender.
1, 2, 3. The home of Memphis Tiger football. News Talk 600 WREC. WEGR HD2 Memphis.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A day after the president promised steps on immigration soon.
In the absence of congressional action, I intend to take action.
Speaking at the closing of the NATO summit in Wales, White House officials now say the president has decided to delay any executive action on immigration till after the November congressional elections. The official telling AP the president's concluded that circumventing Congress now would politicize the issue. Officials at the Nebraska Medical Center treating a doctor with Ebola say he is communicating with caregivers as they decide on a course of treatment.
Infectious disease doctor Mark Rupp said he was sick but stable.
Well, the thing that concerns all of us the most is we have no specific therapeutic modalities to treat this virus.
The experimental drug that may have helped 2 other Americans sick with the virus recover has run out.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. Dr. Rick Sakura is the 3rd American aid worker sickened with the virus. Fox News, we report, you decide.
For Saturday, a chance of scattered showers, high in the upper 80s, mid-80s for Sunday and drying out, and then highs near 90, overnight lows near 70 for the start of next week. From the WMC Action News 5 Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tim Van Horn. News Talk 600 WREC.
News online anytime. 600 WREC is on demand at 600WREC.com and on your smartphone with iHeartRadio. News Talk 600 WREC, Memphis.
Don't want no loving, don't want no kissing, don't want no gal to call me honey. Don't want my name in the Hall of Fame, just want a big fat pile of money. Give me that almighty dollar for that lettuce, hear me holler. Give me buckets full of ducats, let me walk around and waller in Mazuma. El Dinero, wanna be a millionaire, give me money, 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 money.
Hey, money, 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 Jeremy.
Money, money, money. Well, next Thursday we got some ideas on how you can get that pile of money.
How can we do that?
Well, come out to the Memphis Investors Group. We're at the Hilton, 939 Ridge Lake Boulevard. We got Larry Goins from Lake Wiley, South Carolina, who's on the air today.
Well, and we've got Larry on the line today. We've got Jeremy Veldman. He is with Memphis Turnkey Properties. He's also president of Memphis Investor Group. And I'm your host, Joe Garner, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust. And today we're talking about strategies for buying for profit 10 to 15 real estate properties per month without leaving your office. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 901-535-WREC. That's 901-535-9732. And I just want to make a point about how important it is when you're dealing with real estate professionals, that's a realtor or loan officers. You want somebody who's solutions-minded. You have to constantly be thinking about, as a loan officer, you have to be constantly thinking about how to structure financing so that it's going to enable your client to meet their goals, just like we were talking with Joe earlier in the earlier segment today. One of the common barriers, though, to financing is lack of funds. And my very experienced assistant, Susan Ballou, and I, we know where to find treasure for our mortgage clients. And one of them is using what's called OPM. That means other people's money. And if you want to contact Susan and I about how to do that, give me a call off the air, 901-482-0354. And let's go back to Larry.
You know, Larry, one of the things that really intrigues me about your model is how you integrate the internet and technology into basically the buying and selling process, and specifically how you use eBay. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Now, you know what, guys? eBay, there's more people on eBay than just about any other site out there, okay? There's a ton of people out there. And what I teach my students to do is, and I'm going to share at Memphis Investor Group, is how to use eBay to not only sell your properties, but to elicit a bidding war on your properties. And what I'll do, say for example, let me just if you don't mind, I'm going to give a quick overview so the people listening kind of get an idea as the kind of deals we're talking about. I might go out there and find a property that I can pick up for, say, $5,000. Well, I'm going to turn around, and don't worry, it's not a blower-upper. It is a fixer-upper, but it's not a blower-upper. I'm not going to have you buying properties in war zones or blower-upper properties, okay? But we get that property under contract. Then we turn around and we list it on eBay at, say, $30,000, but they're bidding on the down payment. I am going to finance it for them. So when I start the bidding at $1, and when I do that, it starts a bidding war. Now, if I started the bidding at $1,000, nobody may bid. But if I started at $1 and I make it a no reserve auction, in other words, if one person bids and they only bid $1 and the auction ended, they've bought my house. But guess what? For $30,000. Now, don't worry, you're not going to have to sell your house for $1,000 or for $1 down. In fact, the least amount I've ever gotten down was $1,525, and it was a dog with fleas. But what you're going to do is you're going to buy it really cheap, turn around and sell it on eBay with seller financing, and they're bidding on the down payment. And I have specific terms that you want to put in your auction. Now, also, if I have time, if you don't mind, another thing I do is I post my ads on Craigslist and Zillow and all the other free websites, but then I put the link back to my eBay listing, so now everybody who sees my ad on Craigslist and Zillow and Trulia and HotPads and all those other sites, they're going back to eBay and bidding against each other. Is that great or what?
I think it's fantastic. Larry, being in the mortgage business, I know you've had quite a bit of experience in the mortgage business just like I have. I have a burning question for you.
Sure.
You talk about doing all of this, and you don't even need any money to do it. So let's talk about money for a minute. How do you do that?
Well, as you know, you do need money to buy real estate. But the good news is it doesn't have to be your money, right?
Exactly. OPM, other people's money.
That's exactly right. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Private money, hard money, cash partners, credit partners, you name it. I've seen people go out to prosper.com or lendingclub.com or, use your services. I'm sure you've helped a ton of people out there to not only get started, but people who are active in the business and continue to do deals. And guys, everybody out there listening, you need to align yourself with somebody like Joe to get set up and get it pre-approved so you're ready to go so you can go out there and make those cash offers.
That's right.
Because you need to be able to make the cash offer, but the cash doesn't have to be yours. It can come from Joe, right?
That's exactly right. And we do have, of course, I work on a lot of renovation repair loans for both FHA and conventional programs. But Larry, in your book, the one about HUD homes, you talked about different sources of funds that people can use. Can you briefly touch on that?
Yeah, there are a lot of different sources. You can use private money. In other words, just, Uncle Ron, your parents, your grandparents, relatives, friends, anybody out there in the business. You could go to your local investors group and find people who are using private money and then look up and see who their lender is on the public records. It's all public record information. Find hard money lenders locally. Go to sites like I mentioned earlier, prosper.com, prosper.com, or lendingclub.com. And those are all really, really good sources you can use to find money for your deals.
Now, Larry, back to the $5,000 house. We're in Memphis, and one of the objections we're going to have to deal with and overcome is that a $5,000 house, a house that you can pick up for $5,000, could be, quote unquote, in a suspect area. And you have another famous saying, and that is, it's hard to put good people into bad houses. And I know your system includes a way to screen out the homes that you don't want versus the ones that you do want to buy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing a lot of people don't get. They think when they hear me talk about a $5,000 house, oh my gosh, I looked online and the only $5,000 houses are blower-uppers, not fixer-uppers. Well, here's the thing, Jeremy, is you're not looking for a house listed for $5,000. You're looking for, here's my model, okay? I look for houses at least 3 bedrooms, at least 900 square feet, that are listed for $30,000 or less. Now, if it's listed for $30,000, I'm probably going to end up paying around $10,000 or $12,000 for it. If it's listed for $15,000 or $20,000, I'm going to end up paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for it. So, and a lot of people ask me, wow, where did you find this deal? Well, my first response is when I found it wasn't a deal. I created that deal. Okay, they might have been asking $25,000, but I ended up paying $5,000 for it. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't do this on every house, and I think everybody knows that. Sometimes I have to make 25 or 50 offers to get a deal. But when I get a deal, it's not a deal, it's a steal.
Well, Larry, that's a good point. When you mentioned about making a lot of offers, you have to go in for a lot of layups to get some points going there. Tell us a little bit about where you find these deals. How do you know which deals to make offers on?
That's good. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we do look for properties that are listed $30,000 or less, and at least 3 bedrooms, and at least 900 square feet. Because even if your buyer, even if you sell it with seller financing, and your buyer is eventually going to fix it up, and maybe they can get a loan, it's hard to get a loan on a house that's 700-800 square feet. So 900 square feet is my minimum, and I do like at least a 3-bedroom house. I don't want to buy 2-bedroom houses. So that's basically my buying criteria, and then I just go out there and look at all the different sites, whether it's HUDHomestore.com, which is where all the HUD houses are, or Realtor.com, or Zillow.com, or Trulia, or PropBot. And we even do some direct mail. You can direct mail to what's called absentee owners. In other words, people who own a property, but they don't live in that property. And we just send them postcards that say, I notice you own a property at 125 Oak Street, and we are cash buyers, and we would like to make you an all-cash offer on your property. If you're interested in selling it, please call us as soon as you can at this toll-free number. And then we just have a virtual assistant who pulls those calls off of the recordings, and then they call the person and go through a little script and qualify them down, and then the good ones, we personally call back and make them the offers.
So you buy a house for $5,000, you turn around and sell it for $25,000 to $30,000. Seller financing, you create a note, and then you either keep that note or you turn around and sell that note at a discount to a note buyer on the market. That's it. And that's the gist of Larry Goins' Filthy Riches system. And Larry's going to be here next Thursday, September 11th, at the Memphis Investors Group. We meet at the Hilton, 939 Ridge Lake Boulevard. It's a big round building. Can't miss it. Poplar and 240. Main meeting starts at 7 o'clock. Larry's going to hit the stage right at 7. And we've got the early bird session starting at 6 o'clock. Again, Memphis Investors Group. Larry Goins next Thursday. Come on out.
If you're going to Memphis Investor Group and it's your first time, when you go to the check-in counter, just tell them that Joe Garner sent you, and this is your first time visiting Memphis Investor Group, tell them that Joe Garner sent you, and they'll let you in free. How's that? Anybody love free out there?
I love free. And speaking of free, we're giving everybody at the meeting a free copy of Larry's new book, HUD Homes Half Off.
Absolutely. So it's worth driving out. I want to just encourage people before we go to break, if you're thinking about going into the real estate business and building your real estate portfolio, even if you're thinking about just building your own business, whatever that business is, let me encourage you to do that. Let me encourage you to pursue your dream. I want to share a little quote that means a lot to me. It was by Francis Bacon. He mentioned it in his work, The Essays, and here it is. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. And Larry hit on that just a few minutes ago. Jeremy, he was talking about finding a deal. It's not always a deal at first, but he works with the seller, and some deals turn into deals at the end of the negotiation. So right. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Whatever your opportunities are, go make them and make them happen. You're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program. I'm Joe Garner, your host, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust. You can reach me off the air at 901-482-0354, or you can find me on my blog, mortgageloansblog.com. We're also talking with Jeremy Veldman. He is with Memphis Turnkey Properties. He has a company, RTO Gold Mine. You can reach him at rtogoldmine.com. goldmine.com, and he's president of Memphis Investor Group, which is the highly esteemed group. It's one of the best in the nation, and I'm not just saying that. That's been said by many around the country.
We are a premier real estate investor association. National speakers love coming to our group, and really looking forward to the opportunity to continue to grow and add value to our members.
And if you want to learn more about Memphis Investor Group, go to Memphis Investor Group. Is it Memphis Investor Group?
MemphisInvestorsGroup.com.
Investors
Group. Yes. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/MIG, M-I-G, Memphis.
We're going to take a break. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back in just a moment.
You, three friends, a private jet to Vegas, and it doesn't stop there. When you land a private car and driver whisk you to the 2014 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Attend the parties, walk the red carpet, and join Ryan Seacrest on TV introducing an act live. It could happen.
Prepare to be part of history.
If you're the grand prize winner. 22 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. The legend returns. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Listen to win your way in.
Sir, you'll need to place your wallet, keys, and change on the conveyor belts.
Great.
Oh, and your laptop.
What a pain.
And the frog in your jacket pocket.
Right. Big security risk.
The cricket, too. And the cockatoo on your shoulder, please.
This is ridiculous.
That tiger you have on the leash.
This should be fun.
A chicken down your pants.
Oh, please.
That picture was all in your head, thanks to the power of radio.
Visit 600WREC.com, keyword advertise, to find out how you can get to the right customers at the right places.
This is Dan Tullis, and I just called Joel Clark, one of Select Quote Insurance Services' term life agents.
Hi, Mr. Tullis.
Joel, how does Select Quote save you money on term life insurance?
Well, buying term life insurance is all about choosing the right company. Let's say you take antidepressants or you smoke. All insurance companies are going to price that differently. We'll impartially shop all the companies we represent to find you the best price.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. I just got a man, 40 years old, on cholesterol medication, a $500,000 policy with a highly rated insurance company. His price, $22 a month.
Call 1-800-941-9735 and see how affordable term life insurance can be. That's 1-800-941-9735. 1-800-941-9735. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
If you're looking for a church that's easy to get to from anywhere in Memphis, consider Idlewild Presbyterian Church at 1750 Union. You're invited to worship with Idlewild Sunday mornings at 11 or listen live on News Radio 600 WREC.
600 WREC Sports. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles. Here's Isaac Lowenkron.
The hardest working man in show business.
It's only radio. It's so simple.
Don't you ever talk about me.
The Kansas City Royals have not appeared in the postseason since 1985. On Friday night against the Yankees, they moved one step closer to returning there.
2-2 pitch. In there, strike 3 called. Game over. The Royals were there. Shields was brilliant. Davis made it a little interesting, but gets back-to-back strikeouts and hands the Royals a 1-0 victory.
Steve Fisiak with the call on KCSP as James Shields allowed 3 hits in 8 1/3 innings for the win. The Tigers lost to the Giants 8-2, so Kansas City leads the AL Central over Detroit by 2. Matt Kemp's third-inning home run was the difference in the L.A. Dodgers 2-1 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Dodgers lead the NL West over the Giants by 2. Brewers over the Cardinals 6-2. St. Louis still leads the NL Central over Milwaukee by 3.
And you're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program. I'm your host, Joe Garner, mortgage professional with Evolve Bank and Trust. And we're talking with Jeremy Veldman, who is with Memphis Turnkey Properties. Jeremy's also president of Memphis Investor Group. And we're talking with a most distinguished guest, Larry Goins, who is a national speaker, author. He has made a lot of money in real estate, and he is so ready to help us make some money in real estate. So it's about that time, Jeremy, and I believe you have the real estate tip of the week.
Yeah, wholesalers. Your buyer's list does not have to be gargantuan to be successful. 5 or 10 Large whale buyers is all you need. And also, when you're presenting a deal to your buyers, pictures are very important. And give me the condition, not only of the house, but the major systems, the roof, the air conditioner, the furnace, the electrical, the plumbing, the major expense items. The more you understand about the rehab process and can give a good, accurate estimate of what it's going to cost to fix that house, the easier it'll be to wholesale that house to your buyer.
I think that's a great tip of the week. Got a few announcements here real quick. Talk Shop offers free networking and education to anyone interested in real estate or business. This Wednesday, September 10th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., we have a topic that's really dear to my heart, brand identity. 3 simple ways to make a memorable first impression. And the people hosting that are going to be presenting there is the Sherry Henley Intelligence Team, Sherry Henley of Business Over Coffee, and Kim Garman-Hummel, founder and creator of Ancora Studios. Also featuring that day, Carolyn Bendel, which a lot of you in Memphis know. She's the columnist for Commercial Appeal, and she's owner of Fashion Academy. I know they made a great big difference in my business, and also my trainer, Rita Connolly, over at YMCA at Schilling Farms. You can attend Talk Shop events free at the YMCA corporate office, 6373 Quail Hollow Road, 2nd floor in Memphis at the corner of Massey Road and Quail Hollow. Eric Myers of the Confectionery Memphis is going to be serving you some free breakfast, and it's awesome. Rico Johnson of BetterLifeBetterCoffee.com is serving up some Organo Gold coffee. All this is free. For more information about Talk Shop, go to talkshop.biz. That's SHOPPE, talkshop.biz. Mark your calendars for YMCA's golf tournament coming up October 3rd at Colonial Country Club. The proceeds benefit youth serving programs at the YMCA's across the Mid-South. For more information, give them a call, 901-766-7677, and we're going to go back to our interview with Larry Goins.
Now, Larry, $5,000 house, you turn around and sell it. And this is a question I've been wanting to ask you, your exit strategy, and I'm going to ask it in 2 parts. 1, you sell it on seller financing, and 2, you have this note that you've created. What do you do with that note? Do you hold on to it, or do you look to sell it?
Okay, great question. Now, let me just run through a quick number, okay? And you need a financial calculator to do this, which I'll show you how to do this. But if I bought a house for $5,000 and I sold it for $30,000 with $1,000 down, okay, and the way I structure it, that note is going to pay me, I think it's like $394 a month, $398.40 or something like that. So just under $400 a month. Now, I'm leaving closing costs out of this. Closing costs might be another $1,000. But say I bought it for $5,000. I sold it for $30,000 with $1,000 down. I now have $4,000 in that house. Well, if I'm collecting $400 a month, that's roughly $4,800 a year. That's over 100% return on my money. So I say this to answer the second part of the question was, what do I do with that note? If I'm making 100% return on my money, I want to keep that note. My goal is to keep that note. But if you need money and you need cash right away, I'm going to show you how you can sell that note, and you can sell it at a 20, 25, or 30% yield, and you can still make anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 to $17,000, $18,000 cash up front.
That's great information, Larry. We appreciate you being on the call with us. I know our listeners do too. If we've got just a few seconds before we're going to end our call, but can you talk to our audience just a little bit about how to contact you and some of the programs that you have? I know you have a podcast and you have some other things they can plug into. How do we connect with you?
Well, one of the things that we talked about prior to the show, is my new book, HUD Homes Half Off. Now, you can go to Barnes & Noble or Borders or Books A Million or even on Amazon and pick it up, and you'll pay for it. You can buy it. But one of the things we did was we set up a special web page just for your listeners where they can go and get that book absolutely free. And that website is freehudbook.com/Joe Garner, and that's J-O. So freehudbook.com/Joe Garner, and we will send you the digital version of the book. You don't even have to buy it. It's absolutely free. It's the full version. It's not just a couple chapters. It's everything. But also some of the bonuses in the book are You get to see one of my team members in a video actually make offers. We have a spreadsheet that we keep track of all of our properties, and we have other video and audio training and scripts and everything that go with the book, and you're going to get all that absolutely free as well.
Now, again, right before we end our call here, Larry, how do we contact you? What website do we go to?
Well, that one for the book, it's freehudbook.com/Joe Garner, or at my website, Larry Goins, and that's GOINS.com. There's a lot of free training and education as well.
Larry, thank you so much for being on the call, and I look forward to seeing you here in Memphis at the Memphis Investor Group meeting coming up, and we'll connect with you there.
Thank you, Larry. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. And you're on the Real Estate Mortgage Shop program. Of course, we've enjoyed being with you today. If we have been talking about strategies for buying for profit, 10 to 15 real estate properties per month without leaving your office. For this podcast and other podcasts, go to mortgageloansblog.com.
You've been hearing from Larry Goins. You'll see him live this Thursday, and you also see Joe and I live at the Memphis Investors Group, and I'm going to be listening to the Pet Shop Boys on the way home today.
We've enjoyed being with you. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you back next week.